All right, so tonight is going to be some Corby. I don't know if you guys have had this or not. It's a pretty well-known Doppelbock, which is a dark German lager, Bavarian actually. In this case, this is made by Weihenstephaner. This is absolutely unbelievable stuff. Yes, it's pretty boozy. It's about 7.5, 7.4. Man, it's so chocolatey, malty, very smooth. Finishes just a little bit sweet and lingering. Perfect dark brown color with a rocky dark brown head on top. Amazing, amazing beer. So let me switch the camera here and we'll talk about Doppelbock a little bit. Okay, so Doppelbock as a style has its roots in, well, so it has its roots in Italy, of all places, Paula, Italy. So what happened is, during the Protestant Reformation, the monks who lived in Germany and Bavaria and that area of the world at the time fled the Protestant Reformation and went to the mountains of Italy and settled in Paula. So they were the Paulaner monks. So those of you who are familiar with Paulaner beers in Bavaria, that's the story right there. That's how it started. So they were the Paula monks, Paulaner monks, and what they did is they took their styles with them when they moved, right? So their dark beers that they had been brewing at the time, they reintroduced and started brewing down there. And what the Doppelbock was meant for was fasting. So in the 2 yearly fasts at Advent and Lent is when they would drink this beer. So no food, but they got tons of this super malty, sweet, high-calorie Doppelbock. So it was very similar to their Bock beer, which was very beloved at the time, but this was like a double version of that, right? So Doppelbock. Ever since then, there's been lots of other ones, right? So Weihenstephaner has one. There's lots of different Doppelbocks out there. My favorite is probably still the Paulaner. It's pretty good stuff. But that's how it started. So now you know the story of Doppelbock. So as far as drinking it goes, I mean, there's probably some Bavarian dude right now having a heart attack about this dirty bottle out in the middle of the woods and me consuming it out of it. It is absolutely heaven. Very malty, a little bit, it almost has a little bit of a figgish type of undertone to it, just a smidge on the fruity side, but it's very, very underlying and mostly just a type of, you know, yeast artifact. This is a lager beer, right, versus an ale, so it's fermented with a different type of yeast. The fermentation takes place toward the bottom of the wort when it's being fermented. It's amazing stuff. Very low in hops, high in malt. It's very unbalanced in that respect. It's supposed to be, but I mean, if you're talking about traditional styles and the way things are supposed to be, this really is it. The Korbinian's amazing. Oh, another cool thing about Doppelbock too is you hear so the Paulaner one's called Salvatore, by the way. So usually it has an OR at the end of it. A lot of American breweries will use the OR. There's Salvatore, Optimator with an OR, right? Just kind of a nod to the traditional Salvatore from the Pauliners. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the story. Come along with me with the Korbinian sometime. It's really well worth it. I know on this particular camera it's backwards, but man, highly recommended. And thanks for joining me out here. Beer in the woods. Cheers, guys.